School choice programs are transforming education across the United States, and Iowa is no exception. Iowa Alliance for Choice in Education, the organization leading Iowa's School Choice Coalition, is working on a number of initiatives. We are pleased to inform you about these exciting new developments on the education horizon in Iowa. Since 2006, the Educational Opportunities Act, also known as the School Tuition Organization, or STO, tax credit program, has been providing lower-income families with the financial support they need to attend their school of choice. In 2013, our partner organization, Iowa Advocates for Choice in Education, introduced a bill to create a new idea, educational savings accounts, frequently referred to as ESAs. Education savings accounts allow any parent not enrolling his or her child in a public school to receive a deposit of public funds into special savings accounts. Parents can use these funds to cover private school tuition and fees, private instruction, tutoring, or other training. Unused funds roll over each year, and any funds that remain after high school can be used toward tuition and expenses at an Iowa college or university. Education savings accounts are an innovative way for parents to have complete freedom of choice in education. They can choose the option that best fits their child's needs, regardless of income, cost, special needs, or other barriers. How would education savings accounts work in Iowa?
We are really excited about the bill that we've introduced in Iowa, and we're extremely excited about the bipartisan support we've received for it so far. And what the bill currently says is that the state would put in the average state aid for each child that decides to not attend a public school for the following year. So you decide that your child will do something other than a public school next year, the state will put in that state aid, which is about $4,000 currently, and you would receive a debit card and an account in your student's name, and you would be able to use those funds to go to an accredited non-public school, or utilize a homeschool option, which would include traditional homeschooling or a non-accredited non-public school. You could also use it for tutoring, cognitive skills training, school supplies, and other qualifying educational expenses. And then at the time you're 18, those funds do not go back to the state every year. If you don't use your funds, it rolls over from year to year. And at the end of your high school career, when you matriculate from high school, if there's any funds remaining, you can use those for post-secondary at an Iowa college or university.
So in our view, this is going to be real helpful for parents that want to make a real choice in where to send their child to school. It won't matter how much money the parent makes, it won't matter what address the parent lives at, but they'll have a real choice in education for their child.
How would fraud be prevented?
Well, the education savings accounts are going to be run like some other programs that the state already has. There's going to be fraud protection in place. There'll be a debit card that only works at certain vendors. And so we think that's going to be a good way to make sure that the state gets the most bang for the buck.
Are educational savings accounts constitutional?
The educational savings account and other school choice programs have been time and again brought through the court system to contest their constitutionality. The church and state argument comes into play. Repeatedly, these programs have been upheld as constitutionally legal because parents are making a choice where they want their child to go, and the funding is based on the parent's choice.
Are educational savings accounts being used in other states?
Education savings accounts are in the state of Arizona right now. Other programs similar are in other states around the country. And the key with all of these is that we want to have parents have a better choice of where to send their child to school. And so with an education savings account, people will have the resources available to them to make a real choice in education for their child. It doesn't matter where they live, how much money they make, they can choose the school that's right for their child.
How do educational savings accounts benefit children and families?
The exciting thing about education savings accounts is that it goes a long way toward finally leveling the playing field for Iowa families who want the best for their children when it comes to their education. Public schools, private schools, doesn't matter where or what your options are, there is no one-size-fits-all education option for children. So finally, parents will be able to utilize a program like the ESA to look at their options in their area and say, this is the solution that best meets my child's needs, and I no longer have to worry about how much money I make or what my zip code is or my street address is. I can choose that option and know that my child has the best chance at the best education possible.
How would an educational savings account program work with the current STO program?
The Education Savings Account and the STO program can work in a complementary fashion. Each of them will work to meet different pockets of the school population and serve different students from the other, so that both will work together to meet all the educational needs for choice in Iowa.
We're going to need both the ESAs and the STO programs. The STO will continue to serve some students that wouldn't fit for some way with the education savings accounts, and so as we see it, we're going to need both ways to help all kids get a real choice in education in Iowa.
How is an education savings account program different from the STO program?
There is a fundamental difference between education savings accounts and the school tuition organizations. School tuition organizations are tax credits given to donors who donate to school tuition organizations. Those tuition organizations then scholarship qualifying families. ESAs, on the other hand, is when the state directly funds an account that you can use for your family, for your children to attend or to utilize the educational vehicle of your choice. One is direct state aid to a student, another is a tax credit for donors who make scholarships possible.
STO grants are based on the financial need of the family, whereas under the ESA program, every family will receive the same amount of funding.
Are school choice programs helping student participants excel?
One of the things we see from opponents of school choice is that the common concern is that, this isn't really helping, this isn't really raising student achievement. And frankly, we would challenge them to come up with data that shows that it isn't, because the data we do have shows that it is. In almost every case, when school choice is really embraced by a state or embraced by a local government, we're seeing student achievement go up, not just in the public schools, but in the private schools as well. All ships rise when you allow parents to have a choice, and when you really encourage parents to be engaged, to give them options that spur them on to be more involved in the choices. A lot of times parents feel like, this is what I have to do. I have to send my student to this school because it's because of my address or my income. When you really give parents options, they become more engaged, they become more vested, and that always increases student achievement.
Do school choice programs harm public schools?
Many studies have shown that where school choice programs have been in place, that there is no detrimental effect to the public schools in that area. If a child leaves public school and goes to a private setting, the majority of the funding associated with that child stays in the public school, so there's more funding to go around with fewer students. Also, when the non-public schools improve and grow, that competition comes into play, and both public schools and the non-public schools begin to see gains and increase. So it's a win-win situation for both the public and non-public students.
School choice programs remove barriers that prevent parents from choosing the education that best fits their child. Education savings accounts are another way we can achieve this goal. We hope you will help us with this effort to empower parents and ensure the best for our children. If you have any questions, please contact Iowa Alliance for Choice in Education.